Live. Is that Guardians game over? Did they get mercy ruled or anything like that?
It's been over for a minute. Yeah, they got
6-0.
Yeah, they did not.
Ice cold bats there against the Yankees.
That first game was fun, but yeah, those other ones not too good.
Yeah, 9-5 was the first game. What a way to make a living. And then 8-1 last night, the Yankees. And Yankees shut them out today. 6-0. Guardians lick their wounds and are back at Progressive Field tomorrow night. First of 3 against the Rangers. Then they'll host the Royals and the Buccos shortly thereafter that. So 7:10 tomorrow night. We will be out of here around 6:30 with Mary Santora in tow.
That's me.
And Bill having started the weekend, the Friday Get Down.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be so started.
And then Saturday, of course, we'll set sail on the Good Time 3 for Captain Fun's Floating the Fandango.
Boarding starts at 2:30. We ship out at 3.
3 sharp.
And
We're not going to wait.
At 4:30.
Yep. Not going to wait. So, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And I will have one final pair of tickets for you to win tomorrow afternoon on the show. Now, I don't know how they're doing the website. I don't know if maybe last minute they're going to be, informing people that they've won some tickets. I don't know anything about that. I know I have one more pair tomorrow afternoon around 3:20 that you can win. Hey, Renee.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
Fine as frogs here. Thank you for asking.
Good. I just want to chime in a little bit about this, what people make and asking people what they make and so on and so forth.
Salary transparency.
Yes. And I was raised in the time frame of you didn't ask people. It wasn't polite. It wasn't polite conversation. And I think there's merits to both sides of the argument.
Well, and there's a lot of people, they're like, oh, that's outdated and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's fine. I mean, I've been working a long time. I'm 53. I understand what they're saying. I don't have a dog in that fight is my point. But
no, I agree
fully
with you.
understand, people make the point that, keeping your salary a secret, just, that's why employers don't want people talking to each other. But that it also, like, your employer is not going to care, really, if you're talking about it. They just don't want people complaining to them. What it can do, I mean, there's a case to be made for what it can do is create animosity among peers.
Exactly.
And I guess that's a chance you take with anything. But
I've at least found in my world, I guess, the people who tend to ask, and I'm not talking about performers. I think that's a completely different genre of what, Mary and those guys do.
Yeah. Renee, how much do you make, by the way?
None of your business.
See?
What do you do for a living? I'm good.
But
Google
I think that people that tend to ask are people that feel like they're not being paid what they're worth.
Well, here's the thing, though. Nobody thinks they're being paid what they're worth. I mean, I
don't know about that.
Well, listen, you ask 100 people, hey, do you think you're paid what you're worth? 99 of them will probably say no, right? I mean, I make a pretty good living, but based on what this show generates for the company, if you were to ask me, hey, do you think that I'd say no. But that's only going to get you so far, right? So if there are two people talking who are at the same level in their company, if you can do apples to apples,
right,
that's one thing. But again, my perspective is from the fact that I work in a unique industry. So I don't have the perspective that other people have. That's why I'm leaving it to them to suss that out for themselves. I'm not saying one way is better to do than the other way. It's just that.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I seem to think that it's okay if somebody offers to tell you information. I don't think you should ask.
I remember working at a radio station many years ago, and it was like you're watching a television show, like a friggin' sitcom, where the whole episode is about somebody left the salary list on the printer, right? That happened. I saw it happen, and I saw the what went around. No, I didn't see it, but I saw what happened when that got disseminated. I didn't want to know what other people made because, like I said, I didn't think it was my business. I understand if people are like, "Well, I'm worried that I'm getting screwed." I fully understand that, except most people think they're getting screwed. So I don't know how many people you meet in any industry that go, I am paid exactly what I'm worth. So I don't know. There's a case to be made for both sides, I guess. Okay, Renee, what do you do for a living?
I actually run a dental office.
So Renee is in the tooth business, Bill.
I am.
She's in the tooth business. Okay. So you probably get paid in Sacagawea coins.
That's correct.
Right.
I get paid in silver fillings.
Right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Renee.
Do you make $65,000 a year?
There's Renee and Vermilion.
If someone left a copy of the salaries on the machine, I would look at it immediately.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, in that situation, I was one of a couple of people who didn't, because I said, I don't want to know, because my perspective was it was not my business. Because what is to be gleaned from that? All right? I'll bite for people who go salary transparency, whatever. I'll bite. What's the upside?
Like I said, you can find out either what your future could be in a different position,
Right.
or what other people are getting paid to do the same work as you. And then you can look inside and be like, well, is it because I'm not as qualified? Is it because this? Is it because that? Like you can...
So
lawsuits, blackmail. There's so many more things you can do with it.
Right, but okay, so follow that to its next logical point there.
Which is what?
What do you do with that information? Do you go to your boss?
If you feel like you're getting really screwed.
Right. And so what will they say to you?
Well, either that
They'll never
or,
say, oh my God, because they know what you make. They know what everybody makes.
I don't think it's bad to have that knowledge.
What other people
Also, you know
make.
who to buy drinks at happy hour, or
I'll buy my
everybody's
own
getting-
drinks, thank you very much.
Well, maybe you can, but what about the
Everybody-
rest of
everybody
what
can
about
buy
us
their-
down lower on the totem pole,
Everyone
Alan?
can buy their own drinks.
Not here.
Please. Everybody can buy their own drinks.
Pound cake couldn't.
Yes, he could. Have you been following him, Mr.? He's having the time of his
Well, he
life.
could
What
now,
are you talking about?
But
Wow.
not when he was just doing this job.
Yeah,
Couldn't you?
he's doing fine.
You could barely buy gas.
Well,
Like
that's why that's good. That's why he left.
Let me ask you this then, Alan.
Yes.
When you say you are reticent to share that information, let's say I got offered a talk show in New York.
Yes.
Would you tell me how much money you make? Because I have no base for how much to ask for. I have no idea.
Because there's no base.
But
That's what I'm trying to
that's
say.
The whole thing is that if they offer me something, I have no idea if I'm getting screwed or not.
Well,
Mary in
here-
the mornings,
so-
she needs to know.
Here's what I would say.
Or afternoon drive.
Here's what I would say. I bet the person who would tell you what they made was the person you'd be replacing.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be pissed off, or they'd lie to me.
Well,
This
okay.
is a conversation you have to have with somebody you trust.
Right.
Yeah, and who, like,
But here's
you're
the-
gonna go to the
but-
person that you're replacing
but-
that they just fired and be like, hey, what were you getting paid?
But you understand what I'm saying? Like in showbiz, once you get good, you'll get the money. You'll never have to ask for more money. I mean, but what I'm saying is it's not necessarily apples to apples. If I said to you,
I'm not saying that so that I can take the exact salary that you have.
She just
but
wants
I'm
an
like,
idea
okay,
of what to ask
if
for.
Alan makes X,
I would,
and here's all the
yes.
factors, then what is appropriate for me to ask for?
Yes.
Or what do I think they would actually give me?
But here's what I'm saying. I could tell you that without telling you what I make. I would say if they offer you any less than X, say no thank you. I could tell you if what they offered you was screwing you.
And what's that number?
Because there's, again, a lot of variables, right?
Yeah, no, there are. I get that. There's variables in
It's
everything.
one thing.
When you go to college,
it's
what
one
your
thing
degree
if
is. I
like,
get that.
Like I have a friend who works for Apple, okay, out in California, right there on the main campus. He has been a designer and a coder, whatever it is. I think he's a graphic designer for Apple. He has worked there for a long time, okay? It's one thing if you go, here's what this company pays this position. Because a lot of those companies will tell you. This business, at least in my experience, you're not going to go in and go, well, this guy was making this, and they go, all right, well, you're not that guy. This is what we're offering you. And then you have to decide if that's enough or not.
Right.
So it makes no difference
But if you can come into a negotiation for a job, any job, and this isn't just show business, right? If you can come in knowing, hey, I know your baseline is $60,000 a year. I also know 15 people who are making 85. I'm more qualified than them. I have this, I have that. Here's my credentials. I want 90 or
Right.
whatever it might be.
Right.
So if no one talks about it, you don't have that information. It doesn't benefit the greater good to keep it quiet because then everybody's keeping it secret and no one knows what the potential could be. I don't see a downside to sharing it.
Right.
Other than, sure, you might piss somebody off, but that's not your fault.
Well,
I'm not
yeah.
responsible for what I get paid. I mean, sure, in freelance business, but
Right,
like,
but
we're
you
talking
can't-
like a regular office
But
job.
you also can't negotiate for yourself based on what somebody else made. When I
But
had
you
it, when my
can't
No, that's why.
say-
But this is why athletes all reveal what they make so that you know what the market value.
no,
is.
but that's a flex. When a guy goes, "I'm
No,
making
no.
$40 million
that is
a
not
year,"
a
I mean,
flex. That is so that their agents know what to ask for because that's the market value, and knowing
Okay,
market
well-
value is incredibly important
It's super important.
I
And that's
guess so.
across the board with any job.
with any job. Yeah.
Where if you know, whatever, data entry makes $100,000 a year. I have this skill, this degree, this experience. I've worked with this company. I'm going to ask for 125.
Right.
And then if you have no idea and someone's like, oh, I have half that crap and I got 175. That's important to know.
Well, it also comes down to what you have delivered, the deliverables as well. If we're talking about pro athletes, you can look at a guy's stats. This guy makes
Well,
this
every
money.
job has
Yeah,
stats.
every job.
That's
has
exactly what I'm
some- yeah.
saying. That's why you can't apples to apples in a job like this.
But I'm not saying that you can. I'm saying it's just helpful to know kind of a ballpark.
Yeah. I fully get that.
I have no idea how much anybody makes in this business. I don't know how much you make. I don't know how much Rover makes. I don't know how much a co-host makes other than me. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, like, it could be millions of dollars. Somebody could be making 70 grand. I don't know. But if I did know, it would make it easier to negotiate on behalf. I guess it just comes down to, like, what does keeping the information achieve? What does keeping it secret achieve? What's the pro side to that?
Well, I'm not
Secrets are fun.
because I don't think it's anyone's. I like quiet money, right? It's just me. There's no one's business what I'm pulling in. However, what I'm saying is you can get the information you are looking for without someone telling you what they make. Somebody who knows what's going on can say they should at least be offering you this much.
I think that's a middle ground, sure.
Right, but that's giving you information that you say you want.
Yeah.
A quote unquote baseline.
Yeah.
Right? They go, here's what this is. But again, people have access to so much information now. Online, you can go to job sites, you can go to people talking about their jobs, saying, hey, if you do this and you've been doing this for this long and X, Y, and Z, you shouldn't be taking a penny less than this. We don't have those in this business.
And a lot of people
Because
aren't
it's so-
transparent about that, though, where they're like, they don't want to tell you because a lot of people think, well, if you make more money, that's me making less money. Like if you were
Yeah,
to get,
I
let's
just
say I
don't-
make $100,000 a year and I tell you for this same job, you shouldn't get paid anything less than 85. Well, I'll be like, no, why don't you pay them 60 so that I can get a bigger bonus? Like, I think that's also a mindset of it too. Like there's not enough money for everybody, so I can't tell you what I have.
Yeah, my thought is
Especially in
always
radio.
well, but it also depends on like what you want to do and how you're going to. Okay, so like when I was on the air in Kalamazoo, Michigan, all right, and I was only there for 3 years. Felt like 10, but I was only there for 3 years. So I went from I got hired at 17.5, and by the time I left, I was making 28. My wife, we had gotten married like a couple of months before we moved to Pittsburgh, before I got the job in Pittsburgh. She was on the morning show in Kalamazoo. We were at the same radio station. She was on the morning, I was on the afternoon. She was making like mid-20s. So between the two of us, we were making almost 50 grand. Now the job in Pittsburgh was going to pay me less than that. But I took it because it was a huge leap in my career. I went from Kalamazoo to Pittsburgh, which was a big jump. I didn't have to go to Des Moines in between. I didn't have to go to Tulsa. So I go, we're going. It's going to be tight because we're going from 2 salaries to 1, and it's less money, and it's going to be more expensive. But that was the move. That was going to be the move.
Well,
So
and I get that.
everybody's got their own thing, you know what I mean? But I understand what you mean with if you're talking to somebody who is doing the same job. But again, there's a lot of other things. There's like companies have bonuses and things like that that all factor in, and you don't know. You know, companies factor in benefits as money that they're paying you. So you'll sit down with somebody and they'll go, well,
This is how much it's costing.
this guy doesn't
Yes.
have benefits and you do. We're paying him this, but we're paying you $18,000 a year in benefits. They figure all that in. So that's why I miss my agent. I didn't ever want to talk this stuff. I didn't want to talk this stuff with people who wanted to hire me.
Yeah.
I wanted somebody else talking about it. And your manager is supposed to be dealing with all this stuff anyway.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, but it's also nice to know every gig, because he says the same roundabout kind of stuff that you're saying, where it's like he'll send me a script and I'll do a self-tape for it, and I'll be like, how much does this pay? And he'll be like, oh, well, it's hard to say, and it's this and that and the other, and blah,
'Cause
blah,
it
blah,
is.
blah. And I get that, but I'm like, give me a baseline. And he'll say, okay, SAG-AFTRA minimum for this type of movie is X amount of dollars per week or whatever. So he's like, it's kind of similar where it's like, you're going to make at least this much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really all I want to know. Kind of what you
Say
said.
that,
What
yeah.
is a minimum amount I should take for this job?
Right.
And let's ask for a little more than that. If I've never done the
Exposure.
job before, you know?
Or union scale.
Right.
Or SAGs, you know what I mean? Like,
I just submitted a writing packet yesterday for a late night TV show. And I hit up my friend and I was like, hey, how much do writers make? And she told me. She was like, it's this much. That's like the
starting
Writers
kind of.
Guild,
Yeah.
WGA minimum, I think she said, was like $2,000 a week.
Right.
And she's like, and even that is so much money. She's like, and it, you know, it depends on what the show is, what network it's on, if you opt for benefits, basically all the same stuff you're saying. But to know, okay, this is the baseline going in, don't take less than that money.
Right.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. Okay, I got a break.